Good evening, everyone. This is Brother Brandon coming to you from Fayetteville, Arkansas, and just wanted to come on here for a little bit. I realize it's been a while since I did one of these. First off, I'd like to apologize for the lack of videos that I've done. Ooh, wow, this water is spilling. Hang on a second. I wanted to apologize for the lack of videos that I've done. Right now, I've been really going through a really rough time right now. And it's no excuse. By no means, but many of you who are probably seeing this are probably very concerned that I haven't been on Facebook all that much. You probably noticed I haven't really been on Facebook for the last couple of weeks, and so I haven't, and y'all probably kind of wondered where all my videos went. And so I just wanted to apologize. I've got a lot going on right now, going on in my life right now. I'm not really doing all that well right now. There's a lot of things that have happened recently that I can't really explain. Well, I mean, I can explain, I just don't want to explain. So there's a lot of things that have really happened this recently that's really kind of got me down. And I don't know, it just seems like one thing is just one thing after another. And I've been very tired. I've had a lot on my mind. I've just been dealing with a lot of just anxiety. Well, I don't want to say anxiety, but I've been dealing with a lot of fear and a lot of frustration and I've been dealing with a lot of negative emotion. And so it's been very tough for me lately. And so but there's also other things that kind of correlate to that, and there's a lot of things that I've been struggling with personally, with other emotions, I don't know, it just kind of lately just seems like my life has just been falling apart. It seems like. It may not be true, but it just, for me, it felt like my whole life was just gonna fall apart. So I do apologize for the lack of videos. I've had times where I've just been too tired, didn't really want to do a whole lot, and it just really wasn't that. It just wasn't the greatest the last couple weeks. Few weeks actually. So it's been a little tough on me. So if you can pray for me, I really could use all the prayer. Any and all prayers I can use. Because I am struggling a little bit. And it's kind of hard to get back into doing videos. It's hard to kind of get back into doing videos. So you pray for me, please do. If you like these videos, share, like, subscribe. All those on YouTube, I do apologize. I haven't been putting out videos. It's just been rough for me the last 3-4 weeks. Um, I do want to let you know, mark your calendars on October 24th. I will be preaching. So there will be no Fishers of Men broadcast that Sunday night because I will be preaching. So that broadcast will take place when I preach. And I actually know what I'm going to be preaching on. It's going to be about God's ways. God's ways and thoughts are higher. So that's what I'm going to be preaching on October 24th. That is 2 weeks from tomorrow. Please mark in your calendars on that date. I will be preaching on the 24th. It is my privilege and honor to do so. Nothing that I really do deserve, but God has been gracious. Amen. So tonight, I want to talk to you guys about something, and I recently, so I don't know if you guys know, but recently I had the chance to go see the new James Bond film. It was entitled No Time to Die. And now you might say, well, Brandon, why are you preaching on a movie? That's just nonsense. Well, there's actually some very in-your-face, blunt stuff that I want to share with you guys tonight. I promise I'll try not to be too long, but I think it's really worth exposing and sharing with you guys what it is. Okay, I'm not going to really give you a rundown on all the Daniel Craig Bond films because this particular one kind of ties all the films together. But No Time to Die, the villain has a very interesting name. I have to try to see if I can pronounce it correctly. But the main villain of this film is his name is Lucifer Safin. And I'm not kidding you, that's actually the name. Lucifer Safin. Okay? The name Lucifer, you would think, sounds like Lucifer. And I think that was kind of their intention, but they kind of did it in such a way that it was kind of a planned words. But that is actually what the villain's name is. His name is Lucifer. And Lucifer Safin. S-A-F-I-N. And Safin, I'm going to call him Safin. Well, actually, Safin, he gets a hold of this very... Oh, so let me back up a little bit. So MI6, in the movie, MI6 creates... actually works with nanotechnology. And their intention with the nanotechnology is to use it for good and to kind of defeat their enemies and not kill them, right? Well... You know the expression where you have, technology is deadly in the wrong hands? Well, there is a Russian scientist that gets kidnapped and actually works for Safin. And what he does is he takes the nanotechnology, this Russian scientist takes the nanotechnology and weaponizes it to where you can type in a particular DNA sequence. Like if you wanted to kill off a group of people with a particular DNA sequence, you would basically program that in, and you could program the nanites when touched upon if they have that DNA sequence, it would kill them. Okay? Now, this nanotechnology can actually spreads like a virus. Think about that. Think about what we're in right now. We're in a pandemic. Okay? And so this Bond film is about this nanotechnology that can spread like a virus. And the scary thing is, once you touch somebody that has these nanites, and it was armed to kill you with your specific DNA sequence. Once those nanites got on you, you couldn't take them out. You couldn't do anything. So if you were infected with the nanite technology, and you were used as a weapon to kill others by spreading that nanotechnology, you couldn't get those nanites out of you. Those the nanite technology, once the nanotechnology, once it was in you for on a permanent basis. You couldn't extract it. You couldn't get it out because that nanotechnology would be actually around your DNA forever. So what happens is this Russian scientist, to kill off this terrorist group called Spectre, programs these nanites to their DNA sequence and actually puts it in an aerosol form. So once they sprayed that thing, when all the Spectre people were around, when that nanite technology fell upon them, they would instantly die. They developed these red sores, and then they would die because the nanotechnology was armed again. It was armed to their DNA sequence, which basically you would die. You couldn't come back from that. There's no way. It's very interesting that they would make a movie like that about nanotechnology and all that stuff. Now, if you turn with me to Revelation 13. Revelation 13. This movie was so in your face, it was not even funny. Revelation 13, and we'll read here, starting in verse 16. It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay? So in the movie, if you were infected with this nanotech that was in you on a cellular level, like on a DNA level, even if you were just used as a weapon, you wouldn't get that out. You basically lived with it for the rest of your life. And so I just want to bring that to your attention. Now, of course, the nanotech was not the mark of the beast, okay? Because that stuff you could put on your hands or face or anything like that, and it would kind of absorb into your DNA. Okay? But the nanotech, you couldn't get it out of you. Once it was in there, it was in there. And I think it's the same. And I think it's going to be the same thing with the mark of the beast. Okay? Because the Bible makes it clear that those who take the mark are going to go. They're sealed. They're sealed. They're sealed to hell. Those who take the mark, they won't go to heaven. They'll go to a devil's hell. Okay? So, but there's nowhere in the Bible where it says that those people who take it are going to try to take it out of them. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to try to take that mark out of them. they're going to take that mark and it's going to stay in there. And so this nanotech it would stay in that person. You couldn't remove it. There's no way. So anyway, so in the movie, James Bond has a love interest, and he and this love interest actually have a daughter. And they actually have a daughter. They have a daughter together. And which is fornication, by the way, because I'm pretty sure they weren't married. And so, at the end of the movie, Safin, towards the end of the movie, Safin actually kidnaps the love interest, which her name is Madeline, and kidnaps her daughter. And what he does is he takes their DNA, both of their DNA, and he weaponizes it against them and actually creates a nanobot thing against them. So if something were to happen, he could take the nanobots and kill them instantly by smashing it. And so, they would die. Well, unfortunately, that didn't that didn't happen. But when Bond went to fight him, in the process of trying to kill the enemy, he takes the vial and smashes it against his head. So now he's infected with the nanobots that are targeted to kill his love interest and his daughter. And he knows that that stuff can't be extracted out of him. So he eventually kills the villain, and he goes up, and by an earlier moment when he orders an airstrike, he goes up and sacrifices himself just so that his love interest and his daughter would live. Because he knows that if he was around them or if he touched them with that nanite technology, they would die, and he didn't want them to die. He wanted them to have a life. So he sacrificed himself to live, for them to live forward. Kind of a sad ending. But it's really interesting that you have a movie that has a villain named Lucifer, which sounds like Lucifer. And he gets a hold of nanite technology and weaponizes it to basically kill certain groups of people with certain genome sequences in their DNA. And this really would fit in with Revelation 13, but also fits in Daniel 4 with the iron mixed with miry clay. If you go to Daniel 4, not Daniel 4, Daniel 3. I misspoke, it's Daniel 3. Actually, no, it is maybe... Hang on a second. No, maybe it isn't Daniel 3. Is it Daniel 3? Was it Daniel 2? I can't remember. No, it is Daniel 3. No, it's not. See, I'm confused. I've got so much in my mind right now, I'm just, confused. Hang on, maybe it's Daniel 4. Maybe it is Daniel 4. Or, no, it's not. I'm sorry, I'm going everywhere. It's Daniel 2. But it's Daniel's fourth kingdom, Daniel chapter 2. It says, thou saw... Okay, so... it says... Daniel 2, verse 32, it says, the image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, and his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part clay. Then verse 35, it says, then was the iron, the clay, and the brass, silver and gold broken to pieces together, became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found in them, and the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the earth. Okay, so Daniel's fourth kingdom is this iron mixed with miry clay. Think about what we're made of. We're made of the dust of the ground. Okay, so in the movie you have nanite technology that you cannot get out of your. You can't get it out because it's basically connected. It goes deep into your cells and into your DNA. So you can't extract it. Once you have it, you can't get out. You can't get it out. It's in there. It's in there like permanently. Nanite technology can be comprised of any metal of some sort, small microbots. That would represent the Iron Kingdom, and knowing that it will mingle with the DNA, with the seed. It's actually the seed of men. They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Okay, the seed is talking about DNA. So you've got little nanite technology infusing into a human body, which is iron and clay, and iron and clay do not mix. And the interpretation of it, if you look in verse 41, actually no, Daniel 2 verse 40, it says, "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces, and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, and part of potter's clay, and part of iron, and the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay." So you see in this movie that you have a mixing of technology into humans. And that's a bad idea. And so you start to see that No Time to Die, you could see clearly that No Time to Die, is like a Hollywood picture of what's mentioned in Daniel 2, Revelation 13, Genesis 6, the days of Noah. I mean, you look all over the place. And of course, Lucifer, Satan. Satan, I think I looked it up. It was Arabic, as it was translated as boat. I think it was. But Lucifer sounds like Lucifer. Okay? So you see a type and picture of Lucifer, which by the way, he's a type and picture of the enemy, Satan, because there is actually a line in that movie. I won't get into it, but there's a line in that movie that basically shows that he is a god, little g, under people's skin. Which, if you go to Isaiah 14, 12 through 14, who does Lucifer want to be as? God. Isaiah 14, 12 through 14. "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. So, Lucifer, Satan, is claiming to be a little god. Little g, God. And it's kind of frightening that you'd have a movie that's so blunt about what they intend to do. And by the way, if you're wondering what that's called, it's called predictive programming. And there is so much predictive programming in that movie, it would blow your mind. And it was really, I was really dumbfounded by the amount of Luciferian agenda that was actually in that movie. I don't mean to be a spoiler, but this is something that needs to be talked about. But there was a lot of satanic Luciferian agenda, occultic agendas in that movie. And it's so blunt that, honestly, if you weren't born again, you'd probably miss it. And if you are born again and missed it, pray for discernment. We all need discernment. But it's just, I was just really dumbfounded by just even the fact it was like, the name of the villain was just like in your face. And I'll be honest with you, that's kind of what really, the thing that really intrigued me to wanting to go see the movie was when I read somewhere about it having to do with nanotechnology. That's what really intrigued me the most, because it was kind of like, I wonder where they're going to go with that. And so it was interesting that they would, but what's really, it's interesting is because in the movie you have MI6 that actually there is a secret MI6 lab that created the technology, and it got out. Spectre was the one that broke in the lab and kidnapped the scientist, and eventually the scientist went to work for Satan at a private island, basically like surrounded by poison, essentially is what it is. And so the movie itself was really interesting, and the way that, it was just the villain. I'm telling you, I don't know how I can get any more detail than that. It was in your face. Yeah, there's a lot of evil. There's a lot of evil in most movies now. I'm kind of a James Bond nerd, so I've seen like most of the movies, and actually there's a lot of connection with No Time to Die. There's actually a lot of there's actually a really big number of connections to On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And there's a lot of previous connections from different films. On Her Majesty's Secret Service was one of them. Dr. No was another. But they weren't hiding it. They basically had a character that essentially was named Lucifer. It's actually kind of spelt really weird, and I gotta light that one out. I'll show you here. I won't show who played it, but I'll show you. Will show you a quote here. Boy, they put a lot of quotes here. Here we go. Look at that. Lucifer Safin. That's the actual character. You notice the spelling of that looks like Lucifer. But I think they did it with a play on I think they intended for that, but they changed it up a bit to make it sound like Lucifer. But they changed it up to make it less menacing. You see what I'm saying? It was freaky. I'm serious. The character name was really freaky. At first it was just Safin. And then like when the movie started close, like once the movies came out in Europe, that's when they released the name, the actual full name of the villain. And he's kind of creepy looking. He was one that actually, his face was kind of like weird, but he actually wore a white mask. He wore a white mask, and it was actually kind of creepy because it looks like Chucky doll or something from like a horror movie. I'm not kidding. It was I'll show you the mask. It looks creepy. I don't know if you all can see that there, but look at that. That was like the mask that the villain wore like part of the time. Isn't that creepy? It was a creepy looking mask. You know what that reminds me of? Yeah. Oh, yuck. That mask, this is what that mask reminds me of. 2 Corinthians 11:14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. And that mask is like all white with a smiley face on it. And part of it actually gets chipped off because what happens is young Madeline, what happens is Safin at the beginning goes to Madeline's house to try to murder Mr. White, which is her father, because her father had killed this man's parents, his whole family. So he came back looking for revenge, and young Madeline actually takes a firearm and actually shoots him in the stomach or somewhere, and he falls off, and like part of his mask gets chipped off. And eventually, like, she runs and falls into like a frozen lake, and is trying to get out. He's trying to shoot this young girl in this lake of ice, and what happens is he actually takes the gun and breaks the ice and brings her out and decides to save her. It actually isn't until like the end where like he decides that they want her gone. But it's a creepy mask. But if you do go see it, if you do go see No Time to Die, you should look out for those things, because those are it's really creepy. There's actually some disturbing images because of the nanotech, the effects that the killing effects that it has, that nanotech has when it's reprogrammed to people's DNA. It's just really creepy. But I'm telling you that technology exists. You can manipulate and change DNA. There's technology that it does, and of course, there's nanobots, but now I don't know about nanobots being used, but it's a very parts of it were really creepy. And actually, this is probably No Time to Die is probably one of the most creepy Bond films I've ever seen. Shoot, if I wanted to go see a horror movie, I just go back to seeing No Time to Die, which isn't really a horror movie. It's only horrifying when you find out the satanic agenda that they injected in there. But yeah, it was really weird. But overall, it was a decent movie. It was not your average Bond film. I like the action. I'm kind of a James Bond nerd. A lot of people don't like James Bond, and that's okay. I don't care for it. You know what really was just there's just a big part of that movie where I did not care. James Bond is typically the 007. Well, he retires in this film for like 5 years. And there's actually a black woman, an African-American woman that is actually a 00. And she's actually the new 007. But you find out later that she takes that number and gives it back to Bond when he gets reinstated. And I'm like, you cannot put 007 as a woman. I just don't see that. James Bond is James Bond for a reason. You do not make it a female. Just stay a male. But yeah, I wanted to just share that with you guys because that was kind of, I mean, it was like in your face. I mean, you couldn't. I mean, honestly, you'd have to be like as lost as a goose to not see that. I mean, they're being so blunt about their agenda. It's not even funny. They're not hiding it anymore. And you could just take a Bible and crack it open and know, hey, this is what they got in there. But it's an interesting movie. It really is. It's yeah, it's evil. The most sinister evil thing that's in that movie is like the villain itself. I mean, it blows my mind they would put a Bond villain named closely to Lucifer. It's the most creepy thing ever. That's probably what creeps out the whole movie is just that name alone. I mean, it's creepy. Other than the creepiness, the action's actually pretty good. I like the action in it. But I'm telling you, Lucifer Safin. I mean, woo! You know what? If you think about it, Lucifer Safin. The name Safin almost, if you say it and you hear close enough, it almost like sounds like Satan. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not. Maybe I'm just reading too much into that, but Lucifer Safin is his name. But when you say the word Safin, it sounds like it sounds like Satan. Safin meaning. Okay, let's look this up. Safin is a Muslim boy name. Safin name meaning is the boat. It has multiple Islamic meaning. So think about that. Think about that. You got a Bond villain with a Islamic last name. Meaning the boat. Safin is a Muslim name. Lucifer Safin. Lucifer, yeah, Safin is an Islamic. Isn't that ironic? Because think about what the Muslims worship. They worship Allah, which is who? Satan. Lucifer. But Safin is a Muslim name, meaning the boat. Okay, this is creepy. Check this out. It has multiple Islamic meaning. The name is originated from the lucky number of Safin name is 7. Could that be maybe, I don't know, the beast with 7 heads? 10 horns? The lucky number of Safin name is 7. So you've got Lucifer Safin. Safin meaning the boat, or, 7. That's even more creepy. I didn't know that. That's really weird. But yeah, that is exactly who they chose for the villain. Lucifer Safin. Not Satan, Safin. S-A-F-I-N. And Safin is a Islamic name. I don't know about you, but that's creepy. But I'll tell you though, Barbara Broccoli and all them, they probably knew what they were doing. I mean, that's because that's who they put. That was the name of the character they put in. It's just creepy, you know what I'm saying? It's just makes shivers go up your spine. But Safin is a Islamic name. It is. That's really ironic. But yeah, so that movie, so basically, the whole nanotechnology, and I'm telling you, it's they're telling you what they're doing, they're telling you what their plans are for the future. That future, that's going to eventually come down the pipeline. So I don't know. All you that's on, do you all have any thoughts? Thoughts, questions, concerns, comments? Anything at all? Yeah. I see. The thing is, James Bond is the James Bond movies are so popular. I mean, I bet you probably get those who are saved and unsaved that watch them. You know what I'm saying? There's like a mixed ground of those who watch those videos. Yeah, the name Safin is very. I mean, think about it. They're pushing Chrislam, right? Which is a hybrid of Christianity and Islam, which doesn't exist. Well, it exists, but it doesn't. It's not legitimate. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you all because I found that to be very shocking. The name and even just having to watch through all that stuff was just, it was astounding. It was mind blowing. I'm telling you. It was like a mind blower. Now, I don't know if you guys know anything about Marvel, but they're coming out with a new Spider-Man. And I might go see that one when that comes out. Apparently, I guess everyone knows who Peter Parker is. Peter Parker is Spider-Man, so everyone knows that now. And they're all kind of shaming him and like making him to be like public enemy number one because of fake news, quote unquote. And so this new one that comes out, he actually, Peter Parker seeks the help of a sorcerer by the name of Doctor Strange to make it so that no one really knows that he's Spider-Man. And so it's actually a continuation of Spider-Man Long Way From Home, and it picks up kind of where that left off. That will be very interesting to see. I want to go see that one to see, because I'm like, shoot, that'd be kind of cool to see. But it'll be interesting to see like what they put in that movie too. So I don't see movies all that much. Believe it or not, I went to go see No Time to Die last Thursday, and that was like the first time in like a year, almost 2 years, since I've actually set foot in a theater. So I don't really see movies all that much. But if there's something that catches my eye, that I want to go see, then yeah, I'll go see it. But I tend to stay away from all like the Halloween movies and all of them, like Freddy Krueger nonsense, and I don't do that. I don't do that nonsense. That's I get too freaked out. I get too freaked out by those. Anyways, so probably should have said at the beginning of the video that there are going to be spoilers. So if you don't want, if y'all gonna like plan on seeing the movie, then you should have turned it off and not tuned in. But this video was not meant to be a spoiler. As per more, it was supposed to be more of like a devotional kind of teaching kind of thing. Because there are some things in there that I just wanted to get out. So, anyways, that's going to be it for tonight. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with me. Please do pray for me, as I'm just not having a really good time right now. It's just been rough for me. So y'all pray for me. Pray for my ministry. I covet your prayers. I need your prayers real bad. So, yeah, it's interesting. It really is. And you all probably weren't aware that they made another James Bond movie, or there was such a movie as that. So, anyways, but please do pray for me. I'm not doing very well. So, but listen, guys, I love you. If you guys like this video, share this video with others. I'll be posting this on Facebook, so please. So just please, if you feel led to share this, then by all means, okay. That's gonna be it, guys. I love you. You guys have a good night. God bless you, and we'll see you. Lord willing, we'll probably see you on Tuesday. Okay. God bless you guys. See ya.